What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of 3829 Podcast. If you don't know by now, I am your host, Trey. Now, today we have a few different topics that we want to go ahead and discuss with y'all today, but I do have Ice back on the pod, so before we go ahead and get into anything, I will let him holler at y'all one time.
What's going on, 3829 family? Did you miss me?
Now, today we are going to be going a little bit off script. We did have, some stuff that we studied up on to bring to the podcast today. But before we can even get on the podcast this morning, we got some news about Podcast P getting suspended for 25 games from the league for violating the anti-drug policy. Now, I've been doing I was reading up on it, going through X, seeing the comments on everything. And these people was doing this man dirty. They said, how is you using PEDs and still playing trash? Oh, man. No, it was bad. It was bad. But I'll let you get your 2 cents on it right quick. And then I got a question for you regarding PED.
That boy going out like Peyton Manning, boy. I'm trying to tell you. Oh, man. But what are you doing? What Stephen A. Smith say? Stay off the weed.
Nah, it wasn't weed, though. Because they don't remove that from, the stuff. You feel me? Because they pulled up to... You seen the Team USA in the Olympics.
The Ingram be high every game.
You seen Team USA at the Olympics. Everybody was high getting off that dang bus.
And lucky they ain't get the Brittany Griner treatment. Nah, I'm trying to tell you.
Everybody was high getting off that bus. So it wasn't weed. But, no, for real. How... I just don't get it. For these past 2-3 years... Paul George has just been, he's been taking L after L. He got on the podcast saying, oh, yeah, I just want the Kawhi deal. I think that may have been the best move that the Clippers have made, or the only good move that the Clippers have done in probably the past, since bringing in Kawhi and PG. You get what I'm saying? That's probably the smartest move that they made, was not re-signing him to that deal. Now, honestly... At this point, I think it might be time for PG to go ahead and hang him up. Would you agree?
I mean, from a basketball standpoint, from a fan aspect, yeah. But money, business-wise, no. I mean, look, if some dummy is going to keep paying you money and for you to not perform, just keep getting that paper.
Nah, I hear you.
Just keep getting that paper. NBA has turned into more of a business than it has entertainment.
No, I definitely can understand that. But for me, it's like what Kobe's main deal was. I want to go out on a high. Not, when I can't hoop no more, I'm not putting up the numbers that y'all expect me to put up, That was the whole deal. Now, maybe Kobe got a little bit further past the high when he finally did reach the point of retirement, but I feel like it may just be about time for Paul George to hang it up. I hear what you're saying about getting the money and all that, but I feel like the only place that you were actually welcome, that you've actually hooped at, and that you will be welcome back, is Oklahoma City. The Pacer fans don't mess with you. Clippers fans probably don't mess with you. I know the 76ers fans don't mess with you. So, the only place that you was actually, accepted is Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? Would you agree with that?
Played his best basketball. Okay, but that's because he played his best basketball in OKC.
Not even that he played his best. Listen, no. I would say the best Paul George years were in Indiana for sure. And you're not welcome back in Indiana.
Okay, he had his best scoring averages in OKC.
That's cool, but I'm saying the best years of Paul George were definitely in Indiana. Let's just be real.
Yeah, that was the closest he was to making it to the finals.
Exactly. So the best years of Paul George was in Indiana.
First round. OKC, he was a first round exit twice.
It was a bad shot.
With Westbrook and Melo.
You can't really count Melo though. You can't really count Melo. By that
Melo
time,
was still,
but by that time it wasn't Melo like we knew Melo.
Even still though, he produced. enough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Westbrook and Paul George, you would think that would be enough right there.
No, you definitely would. You definitely would. No,
You know what I'm saying?
I think it might be time for him to hang him up though. I hear what you're saying.
But back to the money aspect, I'm gonna tell you why I said that because so we know the NBA has become more of a business,
Mm-hmm.
and when it comes to things that you love, right? Like when you used to like doing stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
moment you turn that into, you know what I'm saying, business, I'm making money off this. This is income for me. It's now become I'm taking something that I love to do and I have a passion for, and now I'm dealing with people. I'm dealing with numbers and percentages and all these analytics and well, I got to do this to get more money on the court. I got to do that to, you know what I'm saying? And all that adds up to you end up hating, you know what I'm saying, the very thing you used to love, right? Say if you used to work on cars, right? If you like working on cars, but you make your own business working on cars, you're gonna grow to hate it because the customers get on your nerves. You got to pay taxes after working on it, right? You got people arguing with you. Prices of parts go up and down and fluctuate, and you know what I'm saying. You trying to make it all work. You're going to hate working on cars now, and you used to love to do it. That was your passion. That was something you could go out on a Saturday and just mess around, be in the garage by yourself, doing your thing, right? And so it's like with that, we see a lot of players today that don't actually love the game. They just there for a check. And I mean, as a fan, I'm upset about it. But as a, you know what I'm saying, looks at things like from a business aspect, money wise, you know what I'm saying, taking care of family, everything like that, I can kind of understand, why they would develop that mindset.
Uh, no, I can understand that for sure. And I definitely understand it for the NBA players because not only this is something that you used to love, you get something that you used to love, and now you're dealing with the critics, you're dealing with all these other people, all these different things. You get what I'm saying? So I can definitely understand how I can veer away from what you got into it, looking at it as. But I just think that it's definitely time for him to hang him up. I don't think that is you shouldn't keep doing this, especially once you get to the point where you don't love it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because I promise, like yes, it would suck to lose. Like I don't know how many people actually genuinely don't love the game no more. But like I would say, like people like a John Morant probably. If the people that quit that didn't love the game anymore quit, then we would probably lose players like John Morant. Probably lose players like Zion. Probably lose players like, but the thing is, when you say that you lose those players, these are also players that don't play more than 85% of the games anyway.
Yeah. But think about a throwback to I think Jeff T he mentioned something about Andrew Wiggins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, man, he should be killing, but he not. And Andrew Wiggins kind of hinted at, what I'm saying, not really loving the game as much. Or throwback OKC when they traded James Harden, got Kevin Martin. He was one of those, what I'm saying, people hinted at of the game as much, right?
Yeah, he definitely did.
So
They talked about he said I can't shoot no more shots. They gonna make me an all-star. I need my time.
you know what I'm saying? It's like those are the type of players you're gonna lose. Those in between players that are like they're interesting, but they're like fringe all stars. Like they're solid guys, they're solid players. You know what I'm saying? If certain players wasn't in the league, they'd be all stars. But you would lose those types,
Mm-hmm.
and so that would what I'm saying be a big hurt to teams.
No, for sure. Now I do want to go ahead and flip to the next segment of it right quick. I'm not sure if you guys have heard. I know we don't usually cover much football, but I feel like this is a topic that we definitely had to hit. Bill Belichick does not make the first ballot Hall of Fame. He doesn't make it on his first time around. Now, my first thoughts I thought, obviously he wasn't able to get another job in the NFL before he went to North Carolina. Then we all know about the 24-year-old girlfriend. We all know about, how people said that it caused drama and practices with the team. He letting her try to basically affect team situations. Then I'm not sure if you guys have seen the clip, but there was a clip of basically them. I believe they were doing an ESPN segment or something, or I don't remember what exactly it was, but they were on some podcast or something. They're on a hot mic, and basically she's like, "Oh my gosh, they're doing such a terrible job running this. Like we should have had this person, this person, this person, and it would have been so much smoother." And basically, that's what everybody was saying that was going on behind the scenes. With the team is that she'd be over there. Oh well, it should be done like this, and he's just allowing her to do it. Now I won't harp on that too much because I've done a little bit more research and I've found out that that's not 100% the case. As we know, he did burn the bridges with the NFL. He was forced to go back to college football, but it wasn't the 24-year-old girlfriend had nothing to do with the reason that he didn't make the Hall of Fame. I have got a chance to read up on what some of the voters' reasons were for it, and it honestly had a lot less to do with him and a lot more to do with the people that were also up for selection. So like you had guys like Robert Kraft and a lot of older guys, that probably were not going to make the Hall of Fame if they weren't voted in this time. That's what the voters kind of, or that's at least what they're saying, is that if we didn't vote for these guys this time around, then they probably would have never made it in. So that's why we didn't vote for Bill Belichick, because we know that next year he'll make it in regardless. Which I don't necessarily feel that's 100% true. I feel like that's a good excuse for this year, and then it's a good possibility he doesn't get voted in next year either. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's absolutely ludicrous, dog. That's absolute. First of all, I want to give a disclaimer, right? I am Naptown 317 Colts Nation, right?
And we don't rock with the
So
Patriots.
you already know it's don't rock with the Patriots.
Deflate gate in that
Forget Bill
mug.
Belichick. We don't rock with Belichick. We don't rock with Brady. None of them.
Mm-mm.
It is absolutely ridiculous that he ain't make the Hall of Fame first ballot. Because it's like if he ain't first ballot, then we got to question what he is first ballot.
No,
You know what
seriously.
I'm saying? Six, six Super Bowls as a head coach, 2 as a defensive coordinator, eight, eight in total, and it's just like
12 Super
what?
Bowl appearances. Most all time. Like 8 most all time. 6 as a head coach. Most all time. 12 Super Bowl appearances. Most all time. 9 as a head
Like
coach. Most all
what do you,
time. 31 playoff
I'm
wins as a head coach. Did I forget to tell you? Most all time. And then you got seven divisional championships as a head coach. Most all time. Made the playoffs 19 times as a head coach. Most all time. I don't get how he doesn't make the Hall of
like
Fame.
this is blowing my mind, right?
No,
But also, let's remember, right? The year before Terrell Owens was supposed to make the Hall of Fame, what they do? They tried to change the rules, right? So that he couldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, you know what I'm saying? Every year it was a discuss. It was, you know what I'm saying? They tried to find an excuse every single time to so that he could not make the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like everybody knew he should have been in. So my question is, who are these voters, man? Because like I get it. Belichick does not have a lot of allies, right? He don't have a lot of friends, right? A lot of those voters, he probably rubbed them the wrong way. Over half of them, honestly, if
mm-hmm.
I'm being serious. And so it's like, yeah, I get it. He burned those bridges, but it's like for me, if you cannot put your pride to the side and objectively make the right decisions, might be time for you to lose a spot. Like seriously, it's time for you to lose a spot. Because if me, a Patriots hater, can say there's no question he should be first ballot Hall of Famer, what is y'all problem?
No, you're definitely right. You definitely right. And for me, can I, like what I honestly thought it was, I think that it's them trying to put coaches back into their place. Cause we see how um we seen the whole Sharon Moore situation. You know what I'm saying? Not to bring up back the bad light on it or anything, but we seen that whole situation. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's them trying to reel these coaches back in. Like, hey, you can't just do whatever you want and think that it's okay. You get what I'm saying? Because let me be real. Let me be real. If it was Andy Reid, he's making it first ballot, right? If it's Mike Tomlin, he's most likely first ballot, right?
Nah, they gonna definitely try to mess with him.
But most people would agree that most people would try to get him that first ballot.
Don't get me wrong. If it were me, yes, he would. But the voters, like you said, they look what they just did to Belichick. So they most definitely gonna do, you know what I'm saying, some weird things to try to make sure Tom won't make it in.
Like,
and it's stupid because brother has a winning record all time, consecutive seasons with a winning record, right? Bro, I can't remember exactly how many times he's made the playoffs, but he's made a majority of the times he was coach. Now you can argue, well, he's always getting put out in the first round. Okay, but there are teams that haven't even gone to the playoffs in 5, 6, 7, 20 years. And we criticizing him for losing in the divisional round.
nah, facts.
So it's ridiculous, man. But it's gonna make me even more mad the more we talk about it. So what else we got?
So the last thing I wanted to hit on before we got out of here was this Giannis situation. They're putting Giannis back in trade rumors for what feels like the third or fourth time this season alone, just this season alone. So I'm not sure if you remember, but going into the year, they had those situations where Giannis was talking about, or basically his beginning of the year interview or whatever they call it, when he was asked about where his head was regarding the Bucks and what he wanted to do, he said, I'm fully committed to this team. I want to be here. I want to play with this team. I want to try to win. If 8-9 months later it changes, then it changes, right? Then we get a quarter of the way into the season. I believe the Bucks were 9-13 at the time. Giannis deletes anything Bucks related from his social media. He deletes everything, right? Then he got hurt very shortly after that. Like, it was like the first or second game after this happened. He gets hurt. KPJ ends up going off, and he's like, he made the comment, I hope we made Giannis proud. Now, currently, last week or so, Giannis was commenting on the Bucks string of losses, and he expressed repeatedly the lack of vets and the lack of young guys wanting to listen. So at first, when I heard the KPJ comment, I thought it was, he genuinely, is hoping that, that this is going to be able to prove that Giannis, prove to Giannis that, we can get it done. We are, we just got to figure it out, we got to get the chemistry there. Now, hearing Giannis's comments the other day about the young guys not wanting to listen and all this and everybody trying to overstep and do all this, I'm starting to think that KPJ might be the problem. No, I'm not. I don't have any facts to back that up. I'm just saying, based off of those two deals right there, those two comments right there, makes me believe that KPJ may be part of the problem.
Now hold on, because before you go any further, brother, we knew KPJ was the problem when he was in Houston. We knew it was the problem then.
No, that's definitely true.
Didn't that brother get kicked? You know what I'm saying? So we knew. You continue. Just had to throw that out.
No, yeah, no, but so he spoke on how the young guys needed to mature, and now they're saying that Giannis wants to go to Minnesota and play with Anthony Edwards. Now, do I think that that's a great fit? No, not really. I don't necessarily. I don't know. I just don't think that that's the greatest fit for him. But then also in that same interview, Giannis spent a lot of time reminiscing about guys like Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. He mentioned those guys at least like 5 times in a 20-minute interview. You get what I'm saying? And it was in multiple ways. He talked about how when they had that veteran presence. He also talked about how when teams would go on runs, that those guys would make sure that the ball found Giannis. You get what I'm saying? So it's guys trying to do too much, and Giannis is like, I'm Giannis. Give me the ball and get out the way. Simple as that. And that's not even trying to make Giannis sound like a bad or anything. It's just like, give him the ball and get out the way. Y'all don't really got to do much. Now, where did it all go wrong? Let's be real. Well, I've said this once before. Hiring Doc Rivers. He's a floor raiser. If your team's supposed to be bad, he'll get them to be okay. But if your team's supposed to be good, under Doc Rivers, they're going to be bad. Let's just be real. Then, you trade Chris Middleton for Kuz. Let's not forget about what Kuz did in the playoffs last year. Man was out there getting his cardio up. This man dropped a 0-0-0-0-0 game, and I had him for 10 points. I'm never letting that go. Then, you traded Drew Holiday. Brought in Dame. And somehow the Trailblazers ended up with Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard. Another place you went wrong? You signed Miles Turner. Miles Turner is having the worst year of his career. You signed Miles Turner. That was a mistake. You got rid of Dame, which Giannis did not agree with. He came out and said, he didn't necessarily agree with not keeping Dame. But then you use it to get Miles Turner. Even today, with where Dame and Miles Turner are currently at in their basketball careers today, I'll prefer Dame over Miles Turner. Especially if you're matching them up with a guy like Giannis. Like, how does Miles Turner help Giannis at all? Genuinely, how?
Man, it's all them rumors from back in the day where Miles Turner was in them trade talks every year and every team swore he could help him. Not realizing that Turner actually benefited, you know what I'm saying, from the Pacers system.
Exactly. Like you hear about game manager quarterbacks, Miles Turner's the equivalent of that. You get what I'm saying? He's a system center.
Now hold on. Because there are some quarterbacks that are game managers that are phenomenal. And right now you are disrespecting them. Listen, I just got to throw that out. You are disrespecting
or let's say not a game manager, but a system QB. You've heard of a system QB, right?
Okay, that's a little bit better.
That's Miles Turner. Once he got out of a system that was, the thing is, like, And it's crazy that he was able to flourish for so long under with the Pacers because realistically, we went through so many coaching changes, went through so much roster shakeup, and the fact that he was still, it's crazy. But yeah, so that signing Miles Turner is definitely part of the reason why this thing went wrong. But last and certainly not least, where y'all really went wrong is not trading Giannis sooner. That's just my honest opinion. Because now Giannis has been dealing with this calf injury all season, been nagging him. Why would somebody pay full price for him at the trade deadline? Genuinely, why would somebody do it?
Should have traded that man to the Mavs, man.
They should have traded him somewhere, shoot. But where he at, like genuinely, y'all gave up every piece of y'all championship team except Giannis. Clearly, y'all were trying to start a rebuild, but y'all labeled it as a retooling, and now midway into the season, you have to focus on a rebuild now instead of going into the year when you could have did that.
Nah, for sure. And I say, if you truly want to rebuild and you serious, the first step is firing Doc Rivers.
Seriously,
Like you can't. Okay, I don't understand this. You were 30-13, and you fired a
31 and
coach.
13.
Even worse, could have, and you fired the coach.
And wasn't they
that
first
had
in the
you.
East at that time too?
Yes, the number 1 seed. You drop all the way to the 4th seed. Get beat by a team that wasn't expected to beat you.
Well,
I
everybody
expected.
in Indiana knows that's how it goes.
We knew they was
We
gonna
know,
win.
it's two teams that we gonna smack every year that we see them in the playoffs. That's the Bucks and the Knicks. If we see y'all in the playoffs, y'all better just go ahead, chalk up the L.
Yeah, that's a pack. I ain't gonna lie, both of y'all is packs. But no, you fire this coach, and then you bring in Doc Rivers. Now I don't know, man. I don't even know if Mike Budenholzer was available at the time. Mike Budenholzer could have hired him. Giannis likes Jason Kidd. You let him go. You know, it's just all these different. So first thing first, it was coaching, right? Budenholzer, Nick Nurse, somebody, dog. But Doc Rivers, you out your mind. I know Mark Jackson is blackballed, but shoot, man, y'all need to break some rules, get him up in something, man.
Nah, for real. No, they
It's
could have.
honestly, Mike Brown would have been a better choice.
No,
Goodness, Luke Walton would have been a better choice.
dang, now
You
that
know what I'm
says
saying?
Luke Walton. That says something. He talking out the side of the neck now. Talk about some Luke Walton.
Oh man, but nah, it's just like, bruh, like Doc Rivers. Yeah, so that was the first problem. And then, like you said, trading away Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying? It's like the core guys that were there for that championship run, you're getting rid of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so it's just like, and then Drew Holiday ends up on the Celtics, wins another one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like you can see these little mistakes start to add up, right? And then it's like, I get it, right? Trading for Dame probably wasn't the best move, even though I have to mention, Dame is one of my favorite players in the league, right? If
Listen though,
not the.
hindsight, you can say that. At the time, it wasn't a bad move until you got Doc Rivers.
Well, true. But okay, so everybody knew the problem with Dame is his defense, right? And the Bucks team, that was a hard-nosed defensive team. So you would have to play in a system similar to like Isaiah Thomas Celtics, where you kind of hiding him on defense. But it's like I mean, they both ball dominant, even though I'm sure they wouldn't mind, and sure they wouldn't mind, figuring out that 1-2 punch, you know. Um, but yeah, even though technically it probably would have been a bad move, like now if somehow you could keep Drew Holiday and still have Dame, you know, maybe we're talking, but
Nah, yeah, that would have been something deadly
rid,
right there.
yeah, getting rid of Drew Holiday, that's kind of a thing. And then you trade Chris Middleton, your best clutch player in the playoffs. Chris Middleton was one of the sole reasons why they were still in games during those Pacers series. Chris Middleton, sending the games to OT and double OT. You know, and so all these things just add up, right? Little by little, you got rid of things. And then, yeah, to top it off, like the signing of Miles Turner, getting rid of Dame for Miles Turner. I understand, right, that the Dame experiment wasn't quite working how y'all thought. But cutting him to pick up Miles Turner, that's insane, right? Now, I don't know if y'all did that to just kind of slow the Pacers down and break up their momentum. Which, I mean, if that's what you did it for, okay, fine. But other than that, I mean, how does that help you, get to a championship? And these things we already knew before the season even started. So it's like this stuff, at this point, the Bucks front office is shooting themselves in the foot, man.
No, that's the thing, and I've heard that. I heard that angle a lot of times. Like, oh, they just did it to hurt the Pacers, but that's so stupid. If you ask me, it's the dumbest thing you could do. Let me tell you why. Because one, I promise you, it's not. It's not gonna be hard to find another system center.
Yeah,
Shit,
J Hub seems to be developing pretty nice.
shit. I'll take Thomas
Just
Bryant back, bro. Give me Game 6, Thomas Bryant.
yeah, we needed Thomas Bryant back, man. That's crazy.
No, that's
You know
why
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
mad. That's why I was most mad that we didn't resign. That was like that was gonna be like one of the first celebrities I tried to get on the pod was Thomas Bryant, and I was definitely mad that we did not re-sign
That's
him.
a connection. Oh man, that would have been nice.
Man,
Yeah, I don't know if you remember him much at IU, but man, yeah, he was definitely a dog.
nah, for real. That's why, man, it hurt. I'm mad that they got him in Cleveland, man. He ain't. We need him back here, man.
Definitely.
All right, y'all. That's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the 3829 podcast. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Turn on those post notifications as well, so you never miss a video. But before we get out of here, I'll let y'all holler at Ice one time.
Did you enjoy this episode of the podcast 3829 family? If you did, leave a like, comment, and tell us what you want to see next. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more episodes. And we're going to see you on the next one. Peace.